With MvC2 and CvS2 new release, what mechanics and characters in those games may be hard to deal with for new players who experience those games for the first time? For CvS2, it's going to be Sagat, right? People who are learning the game, they're either going to learn that Sagat is really broken, or they're going to learn that Sagat is really broken. Okay, so UMK3 is just bad. Okay. Because it's still 2v2, you have a CPU. Okay. But CvS2, like, people are going to learn really fast that Sagat Crouch Fierce, why it was such a meme when the game first came out. When CvS2 came out, nobody could beat Sagat Crouching Fierce. It was literally the best button in the game. And the only people that could beat Sagat were, like, people that could outrange him and with punish Crouch Fierce. But this game wasn't designed like a lot of modern games where they didn't design moves to be whiff punishable. It just attacked and, like, it was gone. Like, some moves, I think, just weren't fast enough to whiff punish it at all, like, ever. Like, there's just nothing to hit. And so Sagat in CvS2, on the early stages, you're just going to see a lot of Crouching Fierce spam, and Sagat's going to kill everybody. So that's what a lot of the new players are going to have to deal with for the first time in CvS2. For MvC2, what the new players are going to have to deal with, they're going to have to deal with MvC2. I mean, you're talking one of the most unforgiving fighting games in the world, right? And if you don't know what you're doing, because the thing about MvC2, and this is a really interesting topic to talk about too, because this is something that I was going through in my own head yesterday. MvC2 doesn't play like any fighting game that you've played before. Even like MvC2, MvC3, kind of the same fashion over there, but MvC2 is really interesting because of the way the assists work. Assists work a little bit more logically and streamlined in MvC3, so they kind of make sense. But the way that assists work in MvC2 is really bizarre because, you know, you have these great invincible assists, right? You know, Captain Corridor, Psyblade, you know, Gene Splice, for example, 3 of the best anti-air assists in the game. But the thing is, they come in and they land and do their move, but if you can hit the point character before the guy comes in, the assist doesn't activate. They land, they do a taunt, and then they leave. You can't hit them anymore, but you deactivate them, right? And then, you know, the whole concept of calling your assist and protecting your assist and having your assist protect you and then protecting your assist and all that stuff, and just the nature of the way that the game plays logically is so different than what a lot of people expect out of a fighting game. And so when they first pick this up, they're going to jump into the game like, I'm going to just try to play this like a fighting game. And they are going to die. Oh, no problem, Kin Shinobi. Have a good night. Yeah, you're just going to die. Like, MvC2 is I mean, there's no comeback factor in that game. And in fact, a lot of times, the teams that are designed out there are designed in such a way that if you kill one of the characters, you pretty much can't do anything. I forgot which team it was Justin was talking about, but there's one particular team that, yeah, if you lose one character, like, the game is over, basically. He was talking about the fact that Captain Commando is just useless. Like, he had that crazy Cyclops comeback against Yipes that one time. He's like, no, Captain Commando can't do shit. Like, he's like the best anti-air assist, but like if he's by himself, you just, I mean, there's a reason why you saw people when they played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, like they would lose their 2 characters and then they just pause and quit because they just don't even try, right? They don't even try anymore. So, you know, this game is hard. And the other hard part about MvC2, which will probably be the most difficult part about it, you know, leaving the jokey side that MvC2 is going to be the hardest part. Team construction matters in MvC2 more than any other game besides maybe MvC3. There's no other tag fighters like MvC2 or MvC3 where I think the team construction matters that much. And even in UMVC3, because of X Factor, you have this ability to overcome a bad team synergy that you've created. So one of the hardest things about learning MvC2 right now for people coming in here is that if you just pick your 3 favorite characters, your team sucks. Unless your favorite characters happen to be Sentinel, Storm, and Cable, your team sucks, right? If your favorite character is not Magneto, your team sucks. If your favorite characters are Mega Man, Wolverine, and this Amingo character, you've lost. You died. That's game over right there, right? 1, your team has no synergy. 2, like the conversation we had with Mena RD, right? Like we were at EWC and we're talking about MvC2 to Mena RD, and Yipes is like, bro, you got to get in this game. This game is a lot of fun. You should play it. And he's like, all right, what are some bad characters that I can get good at? I don't want to use the same characters as everyone else. And me and Yipes were like, man, that's not this game. Like, that is not this game. There's no such thing, man. You're not gonna take some little ragtag rinky-dink team and like be able to overachieve. It just doesn't work. Like the closest you might be able to get is the Tron Juggernaut Doom team, but they took away the Juggernaut glitch, so now that team is useless. So no, you can't do anything with that. That team doesn't work anymore. I mean, Strider Doom is considered competitive, and that's probably like the limit. And Strider Doom is like probably the limit at that point, you know? I mean, honestly, if Mena RD wanted to play a team that isn't as strong but is a little bit different and is fun, he'd probably look into a Blackheart team, right? The problem with Blackheart is that Blackheart is severely gimped by Cable because he has a quote bug, because his dash is where he does the little tar drips and he gets into the stage. So whenever you do a flying screen to the enemy and you do an air combo and launches them across the screen, they go, thud. The character dashes into the screen and the character gets up and then you go back to fighting, right? The problem is Blackheart is so slow as he's dashing in, and they didn't remove his hurt boxes while he's dashing in. Cable recovers before Blackheart. And Cable basically has like a 4-frame full screen super. So anytime you finish an air combo, do the little pillar super to Cable and launch him across the screen, Cable hits the ground, jumps up in air, hyper viper beams Blackheart before Blackheart can block. Like, it's literally you're killing yourself. So when you play Blackheart, you just have to know if you're fighting Cable, never hit him with the pillar super if you're not in the corner, never finish an air combo if you're not in the corner against Cable. So he can win. It sucks, like it sucks, but before that, Blackheart was one of the best. He was one of the best characters in the game. He was considered super strong until that Cable problem. Now, I've heard in recent meta, people have picked him up again because they've just gotten good at not doing that, not activating the flying screen against against Cable. So it just sucks now. You have to fight Cable. You kind of have to gimp yourself a little bit. You can't do as much damage with pillar supers and stuff like that. But, I mean, it works. They've figured out a way to kind of make him work. So, at first Iceman was considered broken because he took no chip damage because he had his ice shield, so he took no chip damage from projectiles, and so everybody was like, this character is broken. I mean, Mega Man was considered broken at one point because the soccer ball was so annoying to deal with. But as people got better at the movement, so I mean, there's a reason why the top 3 characters are Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel, because they have the best air movement. That's it, right? Like, they have the best air movement. They're the best characters. Like, that's it. That's the end of story. Cable, if he didn't have air hyper viper beam, would basically be useless. But it's just because he has air hyper viper beam, when Cable is in the game, he changes what you have to do in that game so badly, because everything that you used to do to keep your assist safe no longer keep your assist safe, because he just shoots you from across the screen. So when Cable is on the screen and he has all this meter, you can't play the game the way that you normally play. Like, you almost want to consider him like a grappler or a zoner, in which, because of his presence and his existence, you no longer can do 80% of the things that you normally do. Because normally you can protect your assist, but not against a full screen instant super when he's in the air, right? Like, you just can't do anything, because he'll shoot the assist and you, and even if it doesn't hit you, you're blocking it, he'll kill the assist, because the assist takes extra damage, and he can still air Hyper Viper B multiple times in a row against the assist, and the assist character just dies. So, like, if Cable has like 3 meters, you can't call an assist unless you are absolutely sure you can keep him safe, right? Oh yeah, and then there's the guard break. That's right. Cable's guard break is really, really stupid too. So, yeah, so that's another thing too. So yeah, I think, you know, the hardest thing for MvC2 for newcomers is that they can't just pick a team. Like, if you, like, when you play MvC2, your team is point, you know, middle, and you don't really even have an anchor, because there's no such thing as an anchor. Because if you're down to one character, you die. Like, it's useless, right? You have your anchor character, but usually it's an anti-air assist, right? You have to have an anti-air assist. Now, there is one team, there's a couple of teams that don't have anti-air assist. Like I said, there is the Storm Cable Sentinel with no true, I mean, Cable, you can use the anti-air assist with him if you really want to, but like, there are some teams without. But if you are constructing a team without some of those specific anti-air guys, like, you almost basically can't win. It's really, really, the game, they had no idea what they were doing. They had no idea what they were doing when they made that game. The fact that that game turned out as good as and playable as it did was a sheer stroke of luck. And so the meta that developed defines what we play. And so because they didn't design the game with the meta, they didn't design the characters to be able to battle in that meta. And as a result, the meta defines who is playable and what has to be played. And that's how MvC2 is. And that's going to be one of the hardest things for people to understand about the game, is that you have to pick a team that covers these bases. If you don't have the ability to cover these things, your team won't work. So again, if you want to pick Ryu, Mega Man, and Chun-Li, like, have fun, but you are so dead. Like, you are dead. Like, there's just nothing. No way you're going to win with that team at any given level, unless you're playing against somebody else who's using 3 equally crappy characters and you guys are just having a good time. But if you go on ranked and you actually want to, like, do decently on ranked, I'm not even talking about, like, get to, like, the master level of ranked. I'm just talking about, like, getting to freaking, you know, like, gold or platinum, you know, like, you have to pick certain teams. So Cyclops, Gambit, Wolverine, it's not a good team. Like, as long as you don't have, like, one of the flying characters and an anti-air assist, it's just a bad team. It's just a bad team, honestly, which sucks. And again, that's not your team, Zilcho. That's like 99% of the teams. That's like 99. You could have named, like, any characters and I would tell you that team sucks. And I might even be wrong. Maybe Justin Wong was like, actually, you can do, you know, and okay, sure. But for the most part, yeah, it's not going to be good. It's a gear check. Can you beat Team Scrub? If no, good game. Shake my hand. Team Scrub. That is the Cable Storm Sentinel, isn't it? No, that's Santhrax. Which one was Team Scrub again? Cable Storm Psylocke. Cable Storm Psylocke was Team Scrub, if I'm not mistaken. Shoot, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Peter 0611. Cable is hella... No, he's not scrubby. Because the best thing about Cable, to be honest with you, is once you get to the highest levels, and that's why Magneto, Sentinel, and Storm are so strong, because they can fly above the air hyper Viper beam. They can attack Cable from angles that nobody else can, right? Once you get to that highest level and you start understanding what... Cable Sentinel, Captain Commando, that's what it was. Thank you. There you go. Once you get to the point where when you understand exactly what Cable restricts you from doing and how you have to fight him, it's really fascinating, actually. The neutral becomes really great. And again, you know, I think Yipes was the one who explained it to me. Like, the way that you have to approach characters is all based on the assist, right? So, for example, Cyclops is a great assist because his DP assist kind of goes diagonal. Captain Commando's hits the full screen, so that's really good for locking down Sentinels. But Commando also hits forward. He jumps to the screen and he punches the ground forward. So he says when you fight against this guy who has Captain Commando assist, you do not attack from here or here. You have to attack from straight up above. So your whole goal with your flying characters is to get up there, get above the character, because if they call the assist, Captain Commando shoots here, and you attack here. If they have Psylocke, Psylocke jumps down to where they are and goes straight up right through the guy. So if you fight against Psylocke, you can't come from the top, you come from the front, and you come from diagonally. So like based on who they have as their anti-air assist changes how you approach that other character. So even if you're fighting against the Cable, for example, it's not how do I fight Cable, you're actually more concerned how do I fight Captain Commando, or how do I fight Psylocke, or how do I fight Cyclops. Like that's actually more important than how to fight Cable in a lot of ways. So again, this game is just, there's a reason why people love it so much, is because the nuance and the details and stuff like this is just really crazy. And then it has the highest level of execution of every fighting game in existence, except for maybe Melee. Melee and MvC2 are the two highest execution games ever. If you ever watch Ken Villalobos, Chaos, do a bunch of those Sentinel combos on his Twitter, I retweet them all the time. And L.I. Joe just retweeted one, and he did the exact same thing, which was like, I really wish you guys could understand how hard this Sentinel combo is. Like, dude, it's so ridiculous. Like, what Ken is doing to do those Sentinel fly-unfly combos is ridiculous. Also, by the way, Sentinel can't fly-unfly unless he gets knocked into the air and recovers and stuff like that. There's a lot of weird things going on in that game, but... a lot of glitches. Like I said, the fact that the game turned out how it did was pure chance. Absolute chance.